Is that somebody from the Blue Man Group I see there, or is that no photo available? Because that's very clever.
No, that is actually Blue Man! Blue Man.
Cool.
Anyway, any questions? Come on up. No, come up to the mic. Come up to the mic.
Come on up, it's okay. I won't bite much.
Not much.
No.
Can't bite you. You won't be a virtual bite.
It's okay. I'm not actually pointing at any of the cute people I see there too, because I don't want them to be self-conscious. It's Coca-Cola person. Hello.
What was it like working with the Dr. Lano?
I wish I could say I've never met Hideko Anno. I wish I had. The English language dub was done entirely in the States. The only person I ever really saw regularly was Matt Greenfield, who was writing and directing, and some of the other actors sometimes when we were there. I would love to meet the man. It must be fascinating to, this is the guy that I kind of want to sit down with. Nice meal, good friendly sort of atmosphere, and then finally at some point just say, okay, what did Gendo say? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Although those people for Eva fans who understand that one bit where Gendo has no dialogue. It's not that we forgot it. It wasn't there, even in the original. This is the movie. So, just before I, kill off everybody. But yeah, I would be fascinated just to see if I could learn more, because it's a fascinating tale, and it's somebody I'd like to meet. Sorry. It's kind of a disappointing answer in a way. But yeah, it would be terrific to meet. Got another one? You look so eager. That's cool. Thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead. We'll go back.
Hi there. What was it like working for a big time like Nickelodeon? Like stars and
Oh wow. Well, thank you for thinking of me and the other voice actors as stars for this thing. I really appreciate that. It's we kind of went in and did the job. We enjoyed it. I mean, we're good performers. I don't know if anybody of us really think of ourselves as stars, with one or two exceptions that I'm sure remain nameless. It might come across wrong, so I don't want to make the joke. But it was interesting, particularly because there's a little secret that's not really a secret. When Matt Greenfield, who wrote and directed, was first starting this thing, we began with recording. I think it was a time crunch or something. He had to start quickly. He had not seen the whole 26 episodes of Evangelion. He'd seen like 6 or 7. So I have heard it said that Greenfield had said that if he had his chance, he would have gone back to redo the first, say, 4 episodes. I have not seen the director's cut. I apologize. And my apologies also to Mr. Swayze, who was my representative there on Earth in those days. They used him for Gendo for the director's cut. And when I was working with the other actors at the beginning, we did try to get together to find out who we were to each other. We're trying to figure out who the characters were. And as I say, at that point, even Matt Greenfield was trying to figure it out. So you may notice in the first 1 or 2 episodes that Gendo's pretty quiet, actually. And then we start finding out all this other stuff. And it just got to be great fun. So we, every once in a while, a couple of the actors would get together. It's like, okay, what's really happening here? Do you have any clue? I don't know what's going on. So we had a lot of fun with that. Generally, the actors were brought in one at a time, however, so to lay down our tracks. So we didn't cross paths very often, which was interesting. Sometimes you find yourself giving lines with people who are supposed to be responding. They haven't recorded the lines yet, so it's interesting to sort of pretend that they're there. In any case, it was fun. It was interesting because we never knew quite. We were trying to incorporate other lines, not to say that Matt's dialogue was poor or his scripting was poor, but if we came up with something we thought fit the character better, because we're all wondering about his character. So we dropped a few things in. For example, the first time that I showed Fusky Tokyo 3, The Underground, that line about nervous Montresor was my donation, because I was going back to, and it should have been actually nervous Fortunato, But I wasn't sure if anybody would remember the two characters from the cast of Amontillado. Of course, it's Montresor that leads Fortunato down into the cellars to chain him up and kill him. So, but that was the kind of thing that we would throw out. Each of us started figuring out things about the character that we could bring in to improve the dialogue a bit, because we had time to, and that was trying to cover all the bases. So there was a certain amount of collaboration in there to try to get that, and that was also a lot of fun with the characters. When we did the two movies with Amanda Wynn Lee writing and directing, we did a little bit more of that. I think a little less than we might have otherwise, because she'd had time to really look at these characters. She'd been living with them from the original set. So she wrote a wonderful pair of scripts. It was terrific to work with. And people also were trying to bounce lines off each other a little bit. So it was all great fun and interesting to do by all means. And thank you again for thinking of us as stars. That's really very cool. Thank you. Okay. Hello. For a moment, I just saw a rush of glittery silver. I didn't know what was going on. Hello. And I appreciate it. Let me just say.
Okay.
So.
Well, since we're at the convention, and I'm sure everyone's wanting to know, since you couldn't be here, what's your best, most entertaining con story? Anything random that's ever happened to you at a convention?
Did you ever have one of those moments when a little bit of intuition told you to do something and you don't know why, but it turned out to be terrific? Did you ever have one of those?
Yeah.
I was at SukoshiCon 2009, if I remember, and that's in Columbus, Ohio. Great con if you can get up there. I recommend it.
So I'm an hour north of Columbus, so.
Go. It should be coming up soon.
I'm going actually after my birthday, so I am going this year, finally.
Yes! I have to compliment them. SukoshiCon 1 ran on time. Cosplay started on time. This is a miracle. I'm just saying. These guys know what they're doing. But anyway, the last 2009, bunch of us, the voice actors sitting up in kind of in the main events. This is sort of the 2-hour give and take thing with a bunch of us. I'm sitting with Robert Axelrod and Kyle Abear's down on the line back over there and a couple of other people. Well, a question comes back to me that, what do you think, we were talking about this before, what do you think it was that Gendo said in those moments when there was no, there's mouth movements but no lines? And I keep forgetting that's, ended up yelling, if I remember, it's the second one, right? Okay. See, I don't even know all this stuff. But anyway, they said, what is it you think that Gendo said? Well, 10 minutes before this panel, I was in the dealer's room and for some reason was attracted by this beautiful stone gray with yellow numbers 20-sided die. I'm not really a games person. Jaiden's the games person in the household. He knows all the different dice and everything else. I played Dungeons and Dragons when it was one 48-page book and 3 6-sided dice. Okay, I'm that old. But for some reason, I had this thing, and I had it in my pocket. So you ask this question, and I kind of think for a second. I reach in and roll the die, and the crowd explodes. It took over a minute for them to quiet down enough. I'm still staring at this die the entire time. They waited, it finally got quiet, and I flipped up and I said, failed to check, I don't know. So that's one of those moments that if you have a little intuition of some kind, follow it. That was just gold for me. I love that. That was just too funny. So yes, at every convention, something strange might happen. It's not. Here's your candy. Thank you for paying. I'm very silly, yes I am. Oh, hello. Hi.
All right, a question for you. What is your most memorable moment while voice recording or acting, or funniest?
Okay, well I can give you another one. Like I said, is the one on YouTube about Joy Rock, which is kind of funny. I was amazed to find it there. I didn't know anybody was taping. But call on camera. But one that was a lot of fun was, again, working with Amanda Lee on End of Evangelion, and we get the entire thing where, Rey is saying, "I'm not your puppet anymore," and she starts flying off, and then I had my hand cut off, among other things. I'm like, calling her back, "Rey! Rey!" Yeah, I just put everything into it, calling out, screaming. Just finally finished, the thing went by, and I'm just panting, like, oh, wow. Okay, I know everything. And I see through the glass Amanda and the sound engineer kind of looking at each other, looking at the thing, looking at me, looking at the thing. And something in the back of my head said, I know what happened. I know what happened. And yes, Amanda came back on very, very kind of like, click. We didn't have the cap on. And for those of you who don't know, this is when you're recording something, they call it the cap. This is so that when you're screaming into the microphone, it doesn't overload the mic. They didn't have the cap on, so it blew out everything, and of course it was completely distorted. This is no good. And so I'm kind of looking at her for a second, and she looks in, Amanda looks like this, and pretty eyes, and says, "Could you do it again for me? I'll be your best friend. Every 10 minutes, make you chocolate chip cookies." She owes me cookies even to this day, just to let you know. But yes, we did it again. Instead of like, okay, give me a bottle of water, let me get my throat back, It's just one of those things you forget about it. And yes, I've directed too. I've forgotten the cap on a few occasions. It's like, oh crap. You want hot tea with honey? Coat soothe the throats. But yeah, that's one of those moments. Even now it makes me thirsty. There you go.